Yeah.
It's kind of, for me with you though, again, we're going back to the entrepreneurship thing. Something must have clicked at some point where someone is with the amount of experience you have in the culinary, in being a chef and having the culinary talent that you have, something had to shift somewhere that said, I am not going to work for other people, I'm going to work for myself. When did that happen, and why do you think it happened?
I took a job with Maple Leaf Foods as the corporate chef. And this was 6 years ago. And it was presented to me by a recruiter. And, in our trade, the corporate field, probably about 5 years ago, the corporate field was like a no-no. Like, you've totally sold yourself out. You're this creative dynamo, and now you're going to go trade yourself into some corporate, hot dog company. So it was very like, oh my God, I'm going to work for corporate. So, I went in and they met me and they wanted me right away. And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, I've never been, headhunted like this before, and found out about the salary and the expectations. And I was like, yeah. And I get like dental and medical and all of these things and a pension plan. Like, what? Like, we don't have this in my industry.
That's
unless
right.
you work in hotel, unless you work for big money in hotel. So I was like, and I had a small child at the time, and I wasn't ready to go back into restaurants. And I knew that I didn't want to work for a restaurateur and be their executive chef. So I was trying to find other ways. I had just finished TV. I was doing a lot of interesting thing. I was working at Humber College and George Brown teaching, but I wasn't ready yet to fully dive into teaching. I felt like I was too young. I just wasn't ready for it yet. It wasn't exciting me as much as I wanted it to. And then was doing some TV gigs and media stuff and food styling things here and there, which I was making money, but it was great. So when this Maple Leaf job came around and the salary was great, however, it was in Mississauga. And so living from Ajax, traveling to Mississauga sucked. But talk about taking my soul and stepping on it and crushing it every single day. I hated that job. I did.
So it was exactly what you thought it was going to be. It was actually selling your soul, no matter what everything else you said.
Yeah, and the promise was that I was going to have a pretty substantial voice there, and that I was taking over the media, which is what I wanted to do, and I was going to be a spokesperson for them. So I gave away a little bit of my integrity and my philosophies when it came to food for this position. And so that kind of made me go like this a bit, and feel like I was sort of letting my trade and my industry down. But then we got into it and we started creating recipes, and then that kind of like that corporate beast of like, no, it was my idea. No, it was my idea. And these meetings and these useless emails and, all these memes that go on the internet. Well, not being a part of the corporate world, I didn't, you watch it and you're like, haha, but like, no, it's real.
No, it's real. It's real. You realize that Dilbert is actually a thing.
Yeah.
And I sit in these meetings, I would sit in these board meetings and think to myself, I'm so out of the norm here. Like, I don't fit in. I am the puzzle piece that does not fit in. And I would bring to the table amazing ideas and creative ideas, and they would just get shot down. We shot over like 1,000 recipes. They're nowhere to be seen. Content that just died, like days and hours of me being in the kitchen with my culinary team would be nowhere. And it just wasn't fulfilling. And I realized that.
Well, why do you think that is, first of all? Why do you think that they didn't use it? Is there a reason for it?
Well, yeah, I mean, there was some, so the social media marketing person who was in place really didn't like me, thought I was going to take the job. So there was a bunch of bullshit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And, just a lot of BS and, doing work for nothing, just to say you're doing work, Hey,
you go into corporate, in the corporate world, no matter what industry you're in, politics is king, and there is no getting around it. So you got to be ready for that. And a creative person like you and me, because I've done it too, and I left, is because it, in my opinion, and maybe it's not that way in a lot of places, but corporate attitude kills creativity. And if you're a creative person, it's never going to work.